What if I told you that big institutional money makes its moves before the news hits the headlines? And what if I told you that the planetary alignments for January 22nd, 2026 show exactly that? A powerful day of market reallocation, truth revealing, and money shifting into new leadership sectors. Stay with me, because today we're decoding one of the most compressed, high impact financial astrology charts of the year and translating it into real market expectations for stocks and metals. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Financial Astrology Analysts, where we combine astrology, numerology, and market structure to anticipate financial trends. If you enjoy this kind of forward-looking market analysis, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upcoming forecast. Now, let's dive into the astro-numerology of January 22nd, 2026. On January 22nd, 2026, we see a powerful concentration of planets in Capricorn and Aquarius. But importantly, this stellium sits in the 11th house of the chart. In financial astrology, the 11th house rules stock markets, trading networks, collective investor behavior, institutional alliances, and technology-driven platforms. So, rather than emphasizing governments or corporate leadership decisions, this chart is directly activating the market itself, the flow of capital through networks of participants. The Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Pluto are tightly grouped in Aquarius, while Mars sits at the final anaretic degree of Capricorn, 29 degrees. Mars at this critical degree represents decisive execution, the final act of a longer strategic plan. At the same time, Neptune is also at 29 degrees Pisces, another critical degree associated with the end of illusions, dissolving narratives, and sentiment shifts. When Mars and Neptune both reach their final degrees, we often see hidden information surfacing and markets rapidly repricing expectations. Adding to this, Saturn and Neptune form a conjunction in Pisces, representing systemic restructuring, regulatory realities, and the confrontation between dreams and hard limits. The moon in Pisces moves toward this conjunction, activating emotional sensitivity early in the day. However, the moon also trines Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, suggesting that buyers step in on weakness, producing intraday volatility followed by recovery rather than sustained selling. Meanwhile, Uranus in Taurus forms harmonious trines to the entire configuration. Uranus represents technology, innovation, disruption, and sudden capital rotation. With Uranus supporting the 11th house stellium, this points to rapid, technology-driven reallocation of institutional money, particularly through algorithmic and AI-based trading systems. In simple terms, this is a chart of collective market networks reorganizing capital flow. The overall message of the astrology is clear. Old narratives dissolve, new leadership sectors emerge, and institutional capital quietly shifts position inside the market network itself. Now let's layer in the numerology. The numerology of January 22, 2026 reinforces this market narrative beautifully. This date carries a 22-4 day vibration, a 15-6 universal date within a 10-1 universal year, and an 11-2 universal month. In numerology, the number 22 is known as the master builder, symbolizing large-scale financial structures, institutional planning, and big capital formation. The number 4 represents foundations, material systems, and the structural framework of markets themselves. The vibration of 6 is associated with money, value, banking, and pricing mechanisms. The number 1 signals new cycles, leadership, and the initiation of fresh trends, while 11 heightened sensitivity to signals, news, and collective awareness. Finally, the number 2 governs participation, trading activity, liquidity, and the interaction between buyers and sellers. When these numbers combine, they describe a day in which large financial players adjust their positioning to construct a new market structure, confirming exactly what the astrology already indicates: institutional money quietly reorganizing capital flow and laying the foundation for emerging leadership sectors in the markets. So, numerology confirms exactly what the astrology shows: large financial players adjusting positioning to build a new market structure. So how does this translate into markets? This is not a crash chart. It is a volatility with strength chart. Expect morning emotional volatility or a brief dip, followed by institutional buying and recovery into the close. Predicted market ranges: S&P 500, up roughly plus 0.3% to plus 0.7%. NASDAQ, stronger, about plus 0.6% to plus 1.2%. Dow Jones, flat to mildly positive, 0% to plus 0.3%. Sector performance on this day is likely to be clearly differentiated. Technology and AI-related companies are expected to outperform as innovation, data networks, and future growth leadership attract continued institutional capital. Semiconductor stocks should also remain strong, benefiting from sustained demand for advanced computing and infrastructure investment. Industrial and infrastructure companies are likely to perform well as execution-focused spending and large-scale development projects stay in favor. Defense and other execution-based sectors may also see strength, reflecting decisive institutional and governmental action themes in the chart. Healthcare stocks, however, are likely to experience restructuring pressures and pricing adjustments as regulatory and systemic realities come into sharper focus, leading to mixed performance across the sector. Meanwhile, highly leveraged traditional banking stocks may relatively underperform as markets remain cautious toward older financial models and balance sheet risk in an environment where capital is being selectively reallocated. In the metals markets, the astrology suggests a supportive but selective environment. Gold is likely to attract a modest safe haven bid as sentiment shifts and institutional players seek stability, pointing to a potential gain in the range of approximately plus 0.5% to plus 1.0% on the day. Silver, which tends to respond more emotionally to market psychology, is expected to show a stronger upward reaction, with a probable move of plus 0.8% to plus 1.5%, although intraday volatility may be noticeable. Copper appears more balanced between growth optimism and economic realism, suggesting largely sideways price action in a range of roughly negative 0.2% to plus 0.2%. Platinum, facing softer industrial demand expectations, is likely to underperform slightly, with a projected decline in the area of minus 0.5% to minus 1.0%. If you're enjoying these astro-numerology market breakdowns, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone interested in alternative market analysis. It really helps the channel grow, and I truly appreciate your support. Before we wrap up, a quick disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a licensed financial advisor, and nothing in this video should be considered financial advice. Always do your own research and consult a qualified professional before making investment decisions. To sum up, January 22nd, 2026 is a day of institutional repositioning, truth revealing, and new leadership in markets. Volatility early, strength into the close. Thanks for watching. and I'll see you in the next forecast.